beautiful wolf soul, welcome in. Today we are diving into the new moon in Gemini. My beautiful wolf soul tribe, welcome in. The Gemini new moon is arriving on the 15th of June 2026. The moon has already entered on the 13th into Gemini, but the 15th we have a new moon. And this isn't just another new moon, wolf soul tribe. This one feels like a cosmic reset for your mind, your beliefs, your inner dialogue, and the story that you have been telling yourself about who you are and what is possible for your future. Because every manifestation begins with your thoughts, with a thought. Every relationship, every opportunity, every breakthrough, every dream. It all starts with a story. And this Gemini new moon is asking one very powerful question. What story are you ready to stop telling yourself? Because, many of us, the biggest thing that's standing between where we are and where we want to be isn't a lack of opportunity. It's an old narrative, an old belief. An old version of ourselves that we've quietly outgrown. New moons always bring fresh beginnings, but Gemini rules the mind, communication, perception, ideas, the stories we create about our lives. This means the seeds you're planting under this new moon aren't being planted in the physical world first. They're being planted in your thoughts. And what makes this lunation even more powerful is that Uranus is also moving through Gemini. Uranus is the great awakener, the liberator, the planet that breaks us free from outdated patterns and opens doors we never imagined possible. So if you've perhaps been feeling a little bit restless lately, or if you've been questioning your path, if you've maybe found like an old version of your life is slowly falling away, this new moon may be confirming exactly what your soul already knows. You're not here to think small anymore. What's especially beautiful is that just days before this new moon, right, we had Venus and Jupiter that met in Cancer, bringing a wave of emotional healing, abundance, compassion, and heart-centered wisdom. That energy is still flowing beneath this lunation, meaning the story you've created, or you are busy creating now, shouldn't only be about what you want to achieve. It should also be about how you want to feel. Because, the most important manifestations are rooted in alignment between the mind and the heart. Gemini gives us words. Cancer reminds us why those words matter. And together, they create something magical. But here's the truth many people don't realize about manifestations. You can write down the most beautiful intentions in the world. You can ask for abundance, love, success, freedom, purpose. But if the voice inside your head is still whispering that you are not worthy of receiving those things, your energy remains divided. And this new moon is here to help you close that gap, to release old narratives, to rewrite limiting beliefs, to become intentional about the story you're creating. Because the universe responds to energy behind the words, not just the words themselves. So today we will be exploring what old narrative you are ready to release, what new story your soul wants to create, what Gemini wants you to learn, speak, and share, what intentions will have the greater impact over the next 6 months, and what Spirit wants you to know about the future you're calling in. Stay with me until the end, because we're also going to pull some guidance on the energy that you're stepping into between now and the full moon in Gemini that'll be later in this year. Your future self may already know the way, right? But today we're simply opening the conversations to this. So take a deep breath, beautiful soul. If you feel cold, settle in. Grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea or drink or snack, and let's see what Spirit wants our beautiful wolf soul tribe to know under this new moon in Gemini. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for leaving comments if you're still here. Let's dive in, beautiful souls. First off, beautiful souls, wolf souls, this new moon feels incredibly different. There's this feeling throughout the spread that Spirit is not simply asking you to manifest something new. Spirit's asking you to become someone new. Not because you aren't enough, not because who you are isn't enough. Okay, that came out now. But because you've outgrown the story you've been carrying about yourself. And that's where we begin with your first card, the Nine of Pentacles, the old narrative that you are ready to release. And this may surprise some of you because the Nine of Pentacles is usually seen as a really beautiful card of independence, abundance, and self-sufficiency. But what Spirit is showing me right now here with the card in this position is the shadow side of this energy. Many of you maybe have developed a narrative that says, I have to do everything myself, I can't rely on anyone, and I'll be okay as long as I stay self-sufficient. And while that mindset may have protected you in the past, what Spirit is saying right now is it may also be limiting how much support, love, connection, and abundance you're willing to receive. For some of you, this card speaks about wearing independence as an armor, being the strong one, being the capable one, being the person who always figures it out. But deep down, some of you are exhausted, you're tired. Not because you're weak, because you're human. So this Gemini new moon is helping you release the belief that your worth comes from how much you carry alone. Your value isn't measured by your ability to survive everything by yourself. You are allowed to receive, you are allowed to be supported, you are allowed to let people show up for you. Thank you for hitting that like button, beautiful souls. So what is the new story that Spirit's asking you to embrace? Well, we have this beautiful star card coming out. Spirit wants you to embrace the story of healing, that healing is possible, that your future is not defined by your past, that hope is not foolish, that your dreams are not too big. The star arrives after the tower in the tarot. My ADHD brain. The star arrives after the tower in the tarot, right? So after everything falls apart, after life forces change, after disappointments and losses, the star appears and says, keep going. So this new moon is inviting many of you to stop identifying with old wounds and start identifying with your healing. Stop introducing yourself through what happened to you, and to start introducing yourself through who you're becoming. The star reminds you that you were never forgotten, you were never abandoned, you were simply finding your way back to yourself, and that is what changes everything. What message does your future self have for you? Well, we do have the Page of Swords. Interesting. The future version of you is really curious, open-minded, fearless about learning. This card feels like your future self is saying, stop waiting until you know everything. Stop waiting until you're completely ready. Stop waiting until you have every answer. Because, hey, Gemini energy loves curiosity. The Page of Swords reminds you that growth doesn't come from certainty. It comes from asking questions, trying new things, being willing to look at life from a different perspective. It's like your future self isn't successful because they knew exactly what would happen. They're successful because they kept moving forward even when they didn't. This card feels like a permission, right? A permission slip to be a beginner again, to be that teenager again. Permission to explore, permission to change your mind. Well, teenager or a child, right? This is child energy. Basically, a beginner again. Permission to change your mind and permission to learn as you go, as children do. What should you focus your energy over the next 6 months? Well, we do have the Eight of Wands. Movement, momentum, communication, opportunities. This card feels like Spirit is saying, don't sit on your ideas. Don't sit on the sidelines. The next 6 months may move much faster than you expected. Conversations may happen quickly, doors may open unexpectedly, new conversations may appear, downloads, inspiration, opportunities, messages, and synchronicities that just all could arrive one after the other. Gemini is an air sign, so the Eight of Wands is all about movement. So Spirit wants you to focus on taking action when inspiration arrives. Not the overthinking, not analyzing it into exhaustion. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates change. And change creates the reality you're trying to manifest. Thank you for hitting that like button, beautiful souls, and leaving comments. What gift or opportunity is Gemini bringing into your life? Well, we do have the Seven of Cups. And to be honest, right now, this card feels extremely exciting. Because the gift isn't just one opportunity. It's possibilities, endless possibilities. Many of you are looking at a life through very narrow lenses lately, thinking there's only one path, one answer, one outcome. But with the Seven of Cups, it arrives to expand your vision. There may be opportunities, ideas, conversations, creative projects, learning experiences, relationships, or even spiritual pathways that you haven't even yet considered. Gemini wants you to stay curious. Not every cup will be for you, right? But Spirit doesn't want you to dismiss the possibilities before they've had a chance to reveal themselves. So this card feels like expansion, the realization that your future may just be bigger than your current expectations. And so, what intentions will have the greatest impact moving forward? Well, the King of Pentacles, wow, right? This feels like the archer for the entire reading, that the intention Spirit wants you to plant is stability, not survival, but stability. The King of Pentacles is someone that knows their worth, whether you're male or female. They trust themselves. They build slowly and intentionally. They don't chase, they create. The new moon may just be asking you to set intentions around financial security, long-term abundance, self-worth, leadership, confidence, building a life that lasts. So what Spirit is saying here is stop focusing on temporary outcomes and start focusing on becoming a person that is capable of sustaining everything you're calling in. Because your future isn't building one magical moment. It builds through consistency. And the King, he is coming through to remind you that you are actually far more capable than you actually realize. Now, beautiful souls, we did get some oracle messages out, and let's have a look. First off, we have the rhythm of miracles. And miracles appear when least expected. Keep faith and patience. And this message feels like what Spirit is coming through. It feels very gentle but powerful. The rhythm of miracles. That it like reminds you that not everything arrives on your timeline. Some blessings appear when you've almost stopped looking for them. Keep the faith, keep moving. Like miracles may already just be making their way towards you, right? Claim that. Hit the like button, beautiful souls. The power of calm. Peace isn't found by avoiding the storm, but by standing in the miracle of it with unwavering faith in your strength. This is reminding you that strength isn't the absence of challenges. True strength is remaining centered while life is changing around you. You don't need to control every outcome. You only just need to trust yourself through the process. Love bravely. Imperfection makes love real. Do not fear heartbreak. Every time you open up your heart, you improve your capacity to love more deeply. This one is feeling really important right now. What Spirit is saying, don't allow old disappointments to convince you that your heart should stay closed. Love is never wasted. Every experience expands your capacity to love more deeply, more wisely, and more authentically. And finally, inspiration in breath. Pause and breathe deeply. The inspiration you seek is often hidden in the simplest moments of stillness and self-awareness. This feels like Spirit's most direct message here, to slow down, to breathe. You don't need to force answers. You don't need to chase the next step. Some of the guidance you're actually looking for will maybe just arrive in those quiet moments, the pause, the stillness, the space between thoughts. Because that is where your intuition speaks. Soul Tribe, this Gemini new moon is asking you to become, not to become someone else. Yeah, it isn't asking you to become someone else. It's asking you to release the story that says you can't become everything you're meant to be. A new chapter begins with a new thought. A new reality begins with a new belief. And Spirit is reminding you that the story you're writing now may become the life you're living 6 months from today. If this reading resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What old narrative are you releasing under this new moon? Thank you for liking, subscribing, and leaving comments. Beautiful souls, before we close, let's get that one card out. The energy you're stepping in between now and the full moon later, the full moon in Gemini later this year. Spirit, angels, and sisters, for this beautiful collective that is still with us, please can we get one card out? The Empress. And we have the Emperor at the bottom of the deck. All right, this is quite beautiful. So, Wolf Soul Tribe, this feels significant because after the entire reading about rewriting your inner narrative, Spirit closes here with the final message, the ultimate energy of balance and manifestation. Because the Empress and the Emperor together represent divine creation meeting divine action. Receiving and building, flow and structure, intuition and strategy, the feminine and the masculine energies coming together into alignment. So between this new moon in Gemini and the full moon in Gemini later this year, many of you are stepping into a period where you've been envisioning beginnings, where you've been envisioning begins taking form. Your visions are taking form in the physical world. Like the Empress tells us that something is growing. It's not forcing, it's not chasing, it's just growing. The seeds you've planted now through your thoughts, your intentions, your conversations and beliefs are entering fertile grounds. Some of you may just notice increased creativity, greater confidence, more abundance, more self-worth, more opportunities to nurture what truly matters to you. The Empress reminds you that manifestations is not about controlling every detail. It's about trusting the process enough to keep showing up for what you're creating. And then even with the Emperor at the bottom of the deck, right, the Empress says, build it now, create the plan, set the boundary, make the decision, take the next step. This card tells us that Spirit is really helping many of you move from dreaming into doing, from imagining into creating, from wishing into embodying. What's really beautiful is that neither of these cards dominate the other. They're like working together, the two energies. And I feel like the lesson between now and the Gemini full moon is not to force. Don't sit still. Do both. Set your intentions like the Empress and take action like the Emperor. receive guidance, then move on to it. Allow opportunity to come in, and then meet them halfway. For some of you, this could indicate a powerful union that is taking place within yourself. Healing the part of you that always had to do everything alone, learning how to receive both and lead, to both receive and lead, trusting and acting, dreaming and building. So by the time that we reach the full moon in Gemini, many of you may perhaps look back and realize that the story you were telling yourself under the new moon is no longer the story at all. Because you've become the person who believed in themselves enough to create a new one. And that feels like a true manifestation happening here. Not just receiving something new, becoming someone new. Someone who trusts their voice, trusts their visions, and trusts their ability to create a life that reflects both their heart and their highest potential. That's the energy you're stepping into. And honestly, Wool Soul Tribe, that feels incredibly powerful. I'm sending you all so much love and light. Again, thank you for liking the video, leaving comments, being subscribers, and I'll check you around in your weekly update.